Welcome back to Twin Cap. We are recapping Twin Peaks Season 1, Episode 6. I'm very excited to talk about it because this has been my favorite episode so far of the rewatch. I'm joined by Jake, co host. Say hello, Jake, and what did you think of the episode?
Hello. This was a really great episode. I have several notes, mental notes that I made. Where would you like to begin? Because, oh boy, that ending.
Yeah, I'll start from the beginning because this, out of all the episodes, this is the one I took the most amount of notes to. I usually just jot
Mm,
like six or seven things down for each episode, but this one I have like a whole list,
yeah.
and I feel like everything that happens is pretty important because there are a lot of kind of answers to questions we had, and then some big things happen. So I'll just take it from the
Well,
beginning.
actually, let
Go
me let
ahead.
me hit the episode title real quick because again, sixth episode of the season. It's called Episode 5. Well, so
Yeah,
clever. But then it's also the other title is Cooper's Dreams, which I thought was kind of interesting because
yeah.
Cooper's Dreams was mentioned, but it didn't take up a whole lot of like mental space. Like you don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. So I thought that was an interesting title for the episode, and it's also just so Twin Peaksy, so absurd in the best way possible that like they're letting evidence from a dream drive their investigation and the plot. You know what I mean? It's just like in no other show would this make any fucking because they're just treating it. It's like it's literally like marriage, like the marriage of science and reason, because they're doing all this like investigative, scientific discovery and work, but it's married to the most absurd thing, which is like, oh, this was revealed to me in a dream.
Yeah, and it only works for the show, like you said, because like in here you're like, oh, that was in a dream. It's real. Like follow it. Like that's the only thing that
Yeah,
makes sense, you know? Because everything else does not make sense, like in the actual town. But yeah, beginning we're immediately thrown into it's hilarious opening with Cooper wakes up because there's like a ruckus, and he's talking to
mm-hmm.
Diane. He's like, "Do you hear this?" And he holds out his little recorder for Diane to hear it. He's like, "I need earplugs." And I just thought of you, like whenever he was doing that.
Oh, dude, he was way too polite about that for me. I would have been like, hey, I got work tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we find out that that noise, it's a bunch of Icelandic developers who are in town. They want to they're there because Jerry, who's, you know, the wild brother of Ben, that they invited them there to be potential investors for property development. And they're just having a great time. Like it's a rowdy around Twin Peaks right now with all those developers. So we quickly get through that and we segue over to Jacques' apartment, or the room where Jacques was staying, and they determine that the blood on the shirt is not Laura's. They find the magazine and they realize that Laura and the other person were doing like sex work or something like that. And he sees
I
the
don't know
red
if you
drapes.
noticed in one of the ads, like the prostitution ads in that magazine, it said "Ladies come first." I
Oh,
just
I didn't
thought,
see
oh,
that.
that was an interesting little detail.
Yeah, yeah, but he sees the red curtains and he's like, "Oh, I saw this in my dream. We've got like this is gonna help." Going back
So
to what you said, like
absurd.
the dreams, you know, you're like, okay, they're following dream logic and it's helping because you know they follow that. Do you want to comment on anything before I move on to like the
No,
next
not
character?
really. It does make me wonder like what the significance of like the place where those drapes are. You know, like what? Okay, what is that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they a couple of other quick things that happened. We had talked about like Shelley's age and we weren't really sure about what it was, but there was that little line. Did you catch it where they
Dropped
said something
out
like
of
11th grade
11th grade. Yeah.
and married Leo, so she's young, like for sure should not be with Leo.
Yeah, I'm really glad that she shot him. I just know he's not dead. Like I just the show wants to give me more of his bullshit, but at least he got caused, some a big bit of pain.
Great scene too, because like you know he's I can't remember to be honest with you. You know he's probably not dead, but still you're just like, what? That's all we're gonna
Yeah.
see? Like, what did she
Well,
hit?
also I really like when so James Gunn did this in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I'm sure that there's other. I think he does it again in Guardians 2. Oh, he does it in all three Guardians movies actually now that I'm thinking about it. I love when there's this conflict between two characters and it's like building up that conflict between those two characters, and then there's a whole third thing that enters the picture. Like it just gets me so
Yep.
excited every time. And so having that guy who just got out of prison come and like rough him up a little bit. I was because like you see him,
Oh
she's
yeah.
got the gun. He gets home. They're like, oh shit, it's happening. And then out of nowhere, this guy's just like, hey, I didn't say start a business. I said manage mine, you know, or whatever the fuck he said.
Well,
I
and
just
that
love
was
that kind of shit.
no, I love it too. And that was Hank, who is Jennings is with, and Ed and Jennings are kind of having a little thing on the side, and we see them get together. But when Jennings walks into the diner with Shelly, Hank is at the booth, and he grabs her, and she's like, "What are you doing here?"
Mhm.
Kind of pleading for her. But then we see before that, I mean, this episode has so much stuff. We see James and Donna meeting with Madeline, the cousin, and they're like, "You got to get this diary. Like, you're staying there. You got to find it." And
Right.
she ends up finding a tape that we don't really know what's on there, but she calls James and she's like, "Meet me here. I'll show you what's on the tape." So we have after Leo got shot, we had, or maybe that was before we had that little reveal, which was crazy. Anything to comment on that, like with Madeline or anything?
No, not really. I mean, it's now that because I didn't catch it before, but now that I know it's the same actress playing both Laura and Madeline, now my brain's going, all right, what's the significance of that? You know, like, all right,
What
is
about
Laura even dead? Did she just turn into Madeline? You know, I don't.
well, and before that, what do you think of Bobby's scene with Jacoby when he's in there with his family? They're getting counseled, and then they leave, and it's just Bobby and Jacoby, and he just has like a breakdown and says basically that Laura convinced him to sell the drugs so she could use them, and that she wanted to die or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that there's this episode drops so much lore.
there's a lot. It was like jam packed.
A lot of moving pieces because like there's a lot going on in that scene in particular because Jacoby's like, hey, like he doesn't really say this, but like I guess the audience, you know, we're aware. Like, hey, Bobby, I was sexually assaulting your girlfriend the whole time. How does that make you feel? Like that's basically what that scene was. I don't think Bobby really knows that, but still, you know, it had that kind of dynamic. And then Bobby apparently, like we've been kind of seeing Bobby as this like fuckboy figure, kind of jackass, but then we also see that he has his own fair share of trauma at the same time. And it's not something like I'm kind of learning, you know, with each passing episode that Laura isn't like she wasn't the angel that her parents apparently thought she was, or that the town thought she was. But you wouldn't think that she would like hurt people to that extent, the way Bobby had to like broke down crying like that.
Yeah, because he's been like a tough guy kind of the whole show, like very, very annoying. But in that one scene of like vulnerability, it's like, oh, okay. Like you said, you learn more
Yeah,
about Laura.
but he's like a
I
dude.
still don't
He's like
like him.
he's fake tough though. You know what I mean? Like he's it's all hat no cattle.
I wanted to give a shout out before I mention the next scene to the director Leslie Linka Glatter. She's directed a couple of episodes of Twin Peaks, but she's a legendary TV director. Like, directed multiple episodes of one of our favorite shows, Homeland. She worked
Love
in
Homeland.
numerous other shows. She killed it with this one. And there's a shot in the scene right before Cooper, Truman, Hawk, and Hayward go to the log lady. There's a shot of them side by side, the four of them. And dude, it looks exactly like the shot from the Severance episode in season two when they all
Mm,
go into the wilderness or whatever. I'll have to send you an image by image
yeah,
comparison, but I was wondering if Severance took inspiration from that because this was just such a well directed episode. It had like a lot of good shots like that, but that one stood out to me in particular before they went
it
in
seems
into
like
the log lady.
she has a good relationship. It seems with Aaron Sorkin too, because she also directed several episodes of The West Wing and The Newsroom. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
interesting.
Wow. So you've seen her work in other shows as well.
Yeah, I just you know never noticed. I didn't know, but yeah, this is a really well executed episode. Although I gotta say that that ending, I was watching it with my partner, and she was like, "Yeah, you can really tell that this show was not or this episode was not written by a woman because this only makes sense in a man's head." And I was like, "Ah, yeah, you're kind of right." But then I found out, oh, it was directed by this like legendary woman TV director. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. 1990 was just a different time.
Well, what's funny too is that it was written by Mark Frost, who's the co-creator, and
Mm,
we had a discussion a few episodes back about how David Lynch
yeah.
is very good with the weird stuff. This one being solely written by Mark Frost, it was kind of cool because it was almost like the most straightforward episode where it was like, okay, answer,
Yes.
answer, not too weird, but we got just enough. So now we can go back into the weirdness, like knowing so much stuff. That's the beauty of
You
this show.
You know what I was thinking watching this episode? This is going to be kind of convoluted, but like, you remember how spoiler alert for Backrooms? If if y'all haven't seen Backrooms, but you know how like in Backrooms there was like the normal like first floor, but then with each time you go down, it gets like weirder and weirder,
Yeah.
and like things are like dissolving and melting into other things. This episode kind of felt like one floor down from like regular procedural TV, where it's like
Yeah.
it's the first floor down where it's like, it could get weirder, but things are starting to get weird, even though it kind of seems normal.
Yeah, yeah, it's for sure. What do you think? Like, does this make you excited for the rest of the season? Are you super in now or what?
Well, this is episode 6. So we've only got 7, 8. We
And
only
that's
have, wait,
it.
2 more
That's it.
episodes?
Yeah, that's it. The season one's over.
Man, I would definitely want to watch. We should definitely watch one more tonight, and then maybe tomorrow we'll watch like the last of season 1 and the first of season 2 or something like
It's okay. Season two, episode one's like an hour and a half, so that's good. It's like a
that. Love
long.
it.
It's the
Love
best.
it.
Um,
One of the things that stood out to me about this episode. So while I think you were getting dinner or something before we watched this episode. I was watching this. There's a Netflix documentary called Surviving Death, which I find really interesting. And it's just basically like a 6 episode mini series documentary on just like the afterlife and different views of the afterlife and stuff. And they have like a couple episodes devoted to mediums. These
mhm.
people who like they hold seances and they try to communicate with the deceased. Um, and it's just from my skeptic, I'm a skeptic on these things. So looking at it, it just kind of seems pretty goofy to me. But it was just fun to me that I watched that right before this episode, because you kind of have a very similar thing going on with that woman who has this log, who in this log was like a witness to the crime or whatever. And she's like, what is that? What is that? Oh, she heard laughter, or the log heard laughter. It's like, this is just a medium, but with a log instead of a dead guy.
How excited were you to see that? Like you're like, oh, finally we get to hear from the log. Like, isn't that awesome?
Dude, I want to write like a scholarly essay on it. Like, I feel like there's so much going on there, because it's both very supernatural and religiousy and crazy, but then apparently it's also real in the world of the show and not just another kook. And nobody's treating it kooky. That's the thing. There's not even like one person who is like, oh, this is a little weird. It's just like, this is just normal for everyone living in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's like not their first rodeo. Like stuff like this has happened before. But they real quick after they talk to the log lady, real quick, they go to the log cabin in the woods. He finds the one-eyed Jack chip on the ground, which is it matches the piece that was found in Laura's stomach. Things are starting to add up there again, and then it kind of cuts away from that. And the last thing I wanted to touch on before we talk about the last scene is there's also that scene. It was great. It was great when Audrey is spying on her dad and
Dude,
Catherine, and they're talking about burning down the town and like buying up the land so that they can have it, which is very weird. Like, not to get too conspiratorial, but like David Lynch died shortly after the fires in LA, and that's kind of what a lot of people think is what happened in LA. Like people think that the government was in on it and burned down all of the rich houses so that they could get control of the land. Like it was just and then he died shortly after. So it's very coincidental. It's very weird.
so that the California state government or the federal government?
I think the California state government so that they could just get the land and either resell it or do something with it. But there's like a big conspiracy that they were in on burning it because that's all that burned. It was just all the wealthiest area of LA like burned.
I need to fall down that conspiracy rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it's just so
Um,
weird how it matches with this. Like, because I don't remember this part of the show, and I'm like, oh
right.
my gosh, it's very, very strange.
Yeah, there's a lot of Audrey. This show kind of put Audrey front and center, or this episode did, and there's a lot going on with her, because earlier in the episode she basically pressures her dad's coworker, and she's like, "I'm gonna claim that you made a pass at me unless you do what I say." And like morally, yeah, it's probably a sin. But like at the same time, I'm like, dude, you know what? It's 1990. Equality isn't what it will be. It's still not what we hope it will be. But like, I'm just like, yeah, you go, girl. Like, go get your money, honey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then in that scene when she's like listening in on her dad, basically, you know, commit adultery. she like she's kind of like having fun and like listening in, and she realizes all these things. She starts laughing and she puts it up. But then the very next time we see her, she's crying. So it seems like she like sees the absurdity of everything that's going on around her, but she's not as cool with it as she puts a front up to the world to see. At least that's what it seems like to me so far. Because why would you be laughing 1 second and then crying the very next shot? You know what I mean?
Yeah, which leads to final scene. Cooper, the noise is still going on. He comes in, he turns on the light. Audrey's like naked in his bed, and the episode ends. You're just like, oh,
Please don't kick me out.
yeah. It's like, okay,
Yeah, that's some 1990 shit right there.
for
But
sure. It,
oh,
it,
and dude, well, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, you go ahead.
Well, just also because we found out, I guess who Josie was talking to on the phone was
Oh, it's
this
Ben.
business developer,
Yeah, yeah,
or Audrey's dad. It's just like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, like one more love affair in the town of Twin Peaks.
Which
This
is
is this
weird.
is
Yeah, that I didn't remember that, dude. I was like, what? I was kind of like, what? Like so
I
that
don't
was the
even get
guy?
it. Like
I
I
don't
thought
either.
I was getting it up until like what's the plot twist? What are they trying to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It was was this the fastest episode for you? You think?
No, I wouldn't say so. Not for me. No, it was an unfolding, but it was definitely like the most unfolding of any episode.
Yeah, it made me think like if we were at the same place, we would definitely like just tear through the entire thing. Like we'd be done probably, at least with
Dude,
season two.
this shit makes me want to live in California so bad, dude. Because I know just to get to this town, all I got to do is go up to the mountains, the
Do you
mountain
think
of
it's
God, Mount Sinai, aka Lake Arrowhead.
do you think that's part of the charm of the show? Like it's genuinely good, but do you think it like kind of like it's an escapism for you a little bit where you're like, I'm going to California right now for 45 minutes?
I would say I would even like because like don't get me wrong, like you know me, I've been daydreaming about San Francisco for a couple years now, but
Yeah.
it seems a little bit life changing in the sense that it's like enhancing feelings that I already had, you know. So,
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that the show can give you that feeling because in a way it was designed to do that. Lynch always is about he wants you to make the art to make you feel something, and that's it's making you feel like a longing for something, which is cool.
well, man, once we blow through Twin Peaks, like I'm gonna go through Lynch's entire filmography.
Yeah, I want to do it with you. Hopefully you'll be here because there's a chance you might move back to Austin. Hopefully you can be here. We can like go through it together because I have like all this stuff. I would love to rewatch it with you.
Yeah, dude.
But
Yep.
yeah, this was great episode, a lot unfolding. I still cannot believe that this was on air in the 1990s because it does have a kind of a procedural vibe to it at first. But I mean, this is not like that at all. The fact that this came on network television, this is like the way the story's unfolding. This is something you would watch on, like Apple or HBO or something.
Well, I really liked I liked a lot of the shots in this, and there was a lot of nature. Like there's kind of this is a
Mhm.
nature heavy show, relatively speaking, but this is a nature heavy episode, and I was reading online. Apparently, they filmed a lot of it in like California national forests. So
Yeah, when we finish the show, we'll check to go visit all the locations where they shot it.
damn, Skippy.
Truly get into the war. But yeah, any other final thoughts on episode 6? I loved it. I think it's definitely my favorite episode we've watched so far, and I can't believe we're almost done with season one. It's really good.
You, how much do you remember about the next episode?
I don't remember anything. I have no idea. It's like it's fresh. I remember more about Twin Peaks: The Return than I do like the older stuff.
Well, I don't know what else to say other than let's watch episode 7.
Yep, we're gonna be watching episode 7 soon. That'll be out. It's probably out if you're watching this. Episode 7 is definitely out by now. So tune into that episode.